Anyway, been asked to do a little bit of commercial. Number one, I want to point out that there's a lot of tables out in the entryway. Hopefully you'll sell them all. Some of those folks are selling things. There'll be, I think, Silver County that's selling pizza for lunch. Cheshire County is raffling off a portrait of the President and First Lady. I haven't seen it, but I understand it's an outstanding prize and well worth taking a chance on. And please take a look at that also. Okay, my report. Mine's a little bit longer, but it's been a very busy 7 months, and in some ways 2 years that I've been here around. These last 2 years, and let me talk about the last 2 years. It was 2 years ago that I decided to return as Vice Chairman after having previously served as Vice Chairman and Chairman. And these last 2 years were mixed, to say the least. On the one hand, Republicans, as I mentioned earlier, in the governor's office, the New Hampshire Senate, and we heard this from our speakers, New Hampshire Senate, the New Hampshire House of Representatives passed many good pieces of legislation when we were in the majority, dealing with both fiscal issues and constitutional rights. The Republican governor and executive council appointed many good judges and department heads. But as we know, we had more than our share of disappointments. Chief among these were the loss of 8 special elections for the House and 1 special election for the Senate, resulting in us losing 9 out of 11 special elections in all. The ensuing general election was worse, with us losing our majorities in the House, Senate, and on the Executive Council. On the financial front, the picture was also bleak. Despite some well-run fundraisers that featured Counselor to the President Kellyanne Conway, Secretary Betsy DeVos, former White House Press Secretary Harry Fleischer, RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, RNC Co-Chairman Bob Paduchik, Governor John Sununu, and Governor Chris Christie, we lagged behind the Democrats significantly. As we all know, the previous chairman resigned, and Alan just mentioned that, at the end of June 2018, to pursue other career goals. When I assumed the office of chairman on July 1st, we had $650 in our operating account, over $48,000 in debt, and about $15,000 in bills that would come due in the following couple of weeks. During the 129 days that we had from July 1st until the polls closed on November 6th, we worked very hard to improve this situation. Financially, we brought the party back from the brink of an abyss that would have resulted in us defaulting on all of our obligations. We also paid off more than 2/3 of the debt that we inherited. I mentioned this at the very beginning of the meeting, and it's something we need to all take a great deal of pride in, and I think we feel good about, especially after hearing him speak, and especially after getting that check this morning, the fact that we re-elected the first Republican governor in 24 years to the site. There's a lot of talk that we need to be better organized, and we absolutely do. We need to do a better job with candidate recruitment. We absolutely do. But it's testimony to a lot of what we do already that the county offices, the offices at the bottom of the ballot, the most grassroots offices, we still have a majority of county officials in the state of New Hampshire, and Ray Buckley's told me he's not happy about it. So that's something we can be very proud of. Our sheriffs, our county attorneys, our commissioners, our treasurers, our registered deeds, our registered recorder. We can be very proud of that. Just to go through some of the things that happen from a mechanical side, the grassroots, political operations side of things. And Rob Casper's gone through a little bit of this. According to the numbers I have, we were outspent like 5-1 in this election cycle. So we did spend roughly $135,000 online through digital marketing, targeting voters for turnout for the down ballot races, which led to over $4.5 million impressions promoting our state senate and down ballot candidates. In total, we spent over $420,000 in targeted state senate districts. The NH GOP produced and sent 487,248 pieces of mail to households this year to remind our side to get out to vote, sending to people who voted in 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, and 4 out of 4 of the last 4 elections. The Committee to Elect House Republicans spent over $85,000 in mail. They did 3 different pieces in targeted House districts. That's double the amount of money that was spent in 2012, and they also spent $5,000 on digital. In order to modernize our voter contact, texting was done and occurred to a large University of New Hampshire voters at 3 p.m. the day before Election Day with information on finding the voter's polling location. This specifically was designed for turnout purposes. These voters voted in 2012 and 2015, but did not vote in 2014, these people we sent to, which was the last midterm election. As a result of this effort, we saw the largest Republican turnout in this midterm than ever before, but as we know, and unfortunately, the Democrats outperformed us. Roughly 250 votes separate us from the 14-10 Senate we have and a 12-12 Senate. Roughly 3,500 votes across the state separate us from a Republican House majority. During the course of this past campaign, over 370,000 doors were knocked on, over 330,000 phone calls were made, and we trained over 850 Republican Leadership Initiative fellows. Much more needs to be done, there's no question. The results speak for themselves. It didn't do the job we needed it to do, but a lot was done nonetheless. And again, a lot of it happened in 129 days. I want to thank our Republican voters especially, but I also want to thank, of course, our Republican activists, our donors, our volunteers in general, our elected officials, our candidates, whether they won or lost, our county and city and town GOP chairman, and everyone in the executive committee for their hard work and loyal service. I also want to thank the incredible efforts of the RNC staff, that were led by Ashley Wallachevich, and I told Ashley was going to be here today. Ashley, are you here? In the room? Can you give Ashley a round of applause this year? So Mike Swift is also here. Mike, are you here? I haven't seen Mike, but Mike Sweats, he was on staff when I first came on as vice chairman. He served for a while with Chairman Forrester, and then he moved on to the RNC where he's been working on finance stuff, and I believe he's like the deputy finance chairman of the country right now. So he's moving on and up, and he comes from Connecticut, but we claim him here in New Hampshire because he's been an incredible asset. I want to, yeah, absolutely. I want to thank Vice Chairman Alan Glassman, Secretary Jane Lane, Treasurer Rod Casper, and again, Finance Chairman Jim Morgan for their invaluable assistance. And I mentioned this during the National Committee reports, but it bears repeating. National Committee members Juliana Bergeron and Steve Dupree also made invaluable contributions, as did Derry Chairman Jim McCuckman, as evidenced by the fact we're able to use Pinkerton today. Derry set this up for us, so thank you, Jim. And all of us. The dangerous thing when you start recognizing people and thanking people, you're going to leave somebody out. And I probably have done that today, and I apologize if I did. 2 years ago, we began a bit of a tradition of presenting the Norris Scott and the Mel Thompson Awards at a spring dinner, which seemed to really go well. It seemed to really highlight things. It took it away out of the hubbub and the really crowded agenda that the annual meeting usually has, especially when it's an election meeting. So I recommend to the new chairman, whoever that is, that they do that again this year. But I think that's a good way to do it. It really highlights those awards and their significance. At the same time, I want to give out a few awards today, just a few, that I think really, individuals who I think really deserve some recognition. First, as you know, we own an old building that is challenging to maintain, to say the least. One person in particular, however, has done more than anyone else to try to do so. This person has cleaned out the basement, he's fixed toilets, he's replaced hot water heaters, he's mowed the lawn, and he's done things that I'm sure I don't even know about. He holds the title of Concord City Republican Chairman, but he should also hold the title of Atherton Property Manager. Andrew Georgievich, please come. All of these plaques have the same inscription for the individual who will be receiving them, and the distinction, obviously, that the names are different, the titles are different. But it says the New Hampshire Republican State Committee recognizes with deep appreciation Andrew Georgievich for his outstanding service, and it gave him the title that he's got, but there's so much more that he does. Concord GOP Chairman on the 26th day of January 2019 in Derry, New Hampshire. Given our precarious financial circumstances, after July, it was critically important for us to track expenditures very closely and constantly attempt to predict every dollar's activity, whether it was coming in or going out. We also needed help with the critically important job of FEC reporting, the failure of which to do properly has gotten us into big trouble in the past. We also needed help with the more routine aspects of bookkeeping and bill paying. One person proved to be invaluable in all of these regards. Harry Bedard, would you come up, please? Again, Harry Bedard, New Hampshire Republican State Committee recognizes with deep appreciation you for your outstanding service. And her title, again, and she does so much more, is Finance Consultant on this 26th day of January 2019 in Derry. Finally, in some past years, when there's been money to do so, which we know this isn't one of them, bonuses have been given out to the staff for the hard work and long hours they put in. Unfortunately, again, this is not a year when that's possible. Nonetheless, the many long days and devoted efforts of Todd Chewing, our Executive Director, and Joe Sweeney, our Communications Director, should not go unnoticed. They have to put up with a lot, and they have to put up with me, which is probably the worst thing they have to do. Todd and Joe, will you come up? I know you're busy, but come up for just a second. Here he comes. Here comes Todd. Again, and consistent with the others, New Hampshire Republican State Committee recognizes with deep appreciation Todd Chewing and Joe Sweeney for their outstanding service. Todd was our Executive Director, is our Executive Director. Joe is our Communications Director, and it's been a pleasure to work with them. Okay. In closing, many have asked me what's next. The short answer for me is that I don't know. However, as I've said numerous times, I'm not going anywhere, and I will be around to help in some way. As I said at the Executive Committee meeting this past Monday night, I've been doing this stuff for 43 years, and it's become a bad habit that I just can't seem to break. And furthermore, I don't want to break it, so I'm definitely not going anywhere. The one thing that I do know is that when we work together, when we support each other, and we focus on the great mission of our party to serve our fellow citizens while keeping government in check, we succeed. I hope that is what we do in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. Thank you.